Tonight, Biddy, a film which won considerable acclaim at the Moscow Festival, capturing the magic of childhood in a Victorian household.
What is it? Tell me about it. It's a tiny house. Could we pretend it is to be let, and that we would like to move in? And they danced upon the floors and walls and ceilings of inhabited chambers. It's what they always use to starch the angels' wings. That is why I like to keep it on the top shelf, the nearest to heaven.
Biddy, tonight at 9:30 on Channel 4.
And Channel 4 has now returned to Brighton for further coverage of the 1984 Trades Union Congress. Here on YTV, in just a few minutes, we'll be joining Sarah Kennedy for another live and lively edition of Daytime, so stay with us.
Taxi's here.
New flashlights for highlights with the professional touch. But you do them yourself. New flashlights from Clairol, the professional touch for a touch under £4.
Maths. A head for figures will go far. Too early to tell how far. A-.
Sport. As ever, Glenda's never slow at picking things up. B+.
Music. Completely tone deaf. Expected to be signed by a record company any day. C minor.
Headmaster's remarks. Well adjusted, fits in. Likeable, with both feet fixed firmly on the ground. Unlike the rest of his class.
Clark's. Sensible shoes that won't cramp your style.
Home pickling is simple if you use Sarson's pickling vinegar, now in its own pickling jar. Just soak your peeled onions in salt water for a day, rinse and dry, then cover with Sarson's special pickling vinegar. Perfect pickles. In the perfect jar. That's Sarson's.
This must be the Seven Maidens of Venice.
Looks like a bucket of mop to me.
No. This is a contemporary work of particular importance. Well, look, it's been signed. Addis. Must be during his red period.
My mother's got some of these at home.
Well, modern...
The Addis collection. Beautiful housewares to brighten up any home.
Fusion of colour and shape. See? It's a mobile.
Whiskas to me is the best. There's none better. I'm totally convinced.
In tests, 8 out of 10 owners who express a preference say their cats prefer Whiskas. But now there's something even better. Best ever Whiskas. Over the years, our nutritionists have been improving the quality of the Whiskas recipe, making Whiskas even better, even tastier, until today it's so tasty, so delicious. Your cat will tell you it's now the most appetizing Whiskas ever. They say it's the best. Your cat will tell you it's now the best ever. New best ever Whiskas. It's the best Whiskas ever made.
You and your family have worked hard for life's little luxuries. Some you can only afford now and again.
Darling, I hope we've enough Imperial Leather for the holiday.
The Imperial Leather, son?
I'm having some picked up now, sir.
But there's one luxury you should never be without. Imperial Leather. Imperial Leather. Luxury you can afford every day.
$10.95. I don't have enough. I'll put something back.
We'll put back this, and take bold 3 instead.
Automatic powder plus fabric conditioner?
Yes, it's great value.
I don't want to save money if it doesn't work.
Bold 3 does work beautifully.
You don't have to spend money on separate powder and fabric conditioner. Bold 3 does it all in one.
Bold 3 really does work. Look at these shorts, marvelously clean. And my towels are soft and so fresh. I won't be buying separate powder and conditioner again when Bold 3 does it all in one.
Girls, don't miss this golden opportunity. We're giving away thousands of bracelets. Find out how to get yours in this week's TV Times.
In half an hour's time, Jimmy meets the new owner of the estate when we take the high road. But now, Sarah Kennedy leads the discussion on a topical news item in the second of a new series, Daytime.
Daytime. Yes, the last miner's wife has only just left. If you didn't watch on Tuesday, we had a right old ding-dong in here. Well, today's programme is about cash, and lots of it. And just look at the papers here. They've all got millionaire-itis. The new millionaire could be you, or win another million, folks. But it's small fry compared with 28-year-old printer Michael Witkowski from Chicago. This week, Michael won the state lottery, all £30 million of it. Will his winnings change his life?
Congratulations, Michael.
Thank you. My lifestyle will probably not change. I can't believe my lifestyle will change. I've got a beautiful life with a family and a future fiancé, and
Well, he went on to say he'd be back at work the next day. I don't think I would you? No! A very fervent no there from the audience. Well, what would you all do if you did win £1 million? You could buy this little number. You could buy 7 Rolls-Royce Phantoms with some leftover for a little run around. Or you could stay, if that was what you were liked, in a suite at the Savoy for 5 years. Well, everyone knows that money can buy material wealth, of course, but heed the biblical warnings. The love of money is the root of all evil. It's harder, they say, for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven than it is for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle. Does money buy happiness? Well, 8 people will soon discover the pitfalls and the benefits of newly found wealth. Daytime reporter Khalid Aziz is with the money.
Well, you know, Sarah, they say the richest man in the world has £1.8 billion to his name, and his name's Aziz. I'm very sorry to say, though, he's no relation whatsoever. Mind you, I wouldn't mind being related to one of these 8 chaps here, because between them, they've just won £750,000 on the pools, and the cheque has just been presented to them here at the Dorchester Hotel. And their ringleader, if I can call him that, is Ray Davis. Ray, I wonder if I can ask you, first of all, the obvious question, how does it feel?
Great, really great. Bit numb, like, you know, but, it's just great.
Have you decided what you're going to do with it?
Probably have a better car than one I got, a more modern one. Do something to the house, might buy a new house. And
what about the job? You're going to leave the job?
We haven't decided that yet about a job. It will be difficult to work, I suppose, with that amount of money, knowing that you're not going to have your mind on your work, I suppose.
I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with it. That's all, you know. It's need a bit of time to think about it, you know.
You seem to have struck up a very warm relationship with your mate.
Oh,
here.
he's my pal, he's my workmate.
Is he? Will it ever be the same again, working with him?
It's never the same working with him.
The best thing to do is take it as steady as possible at this point in time, until when it sinks in and I know what I will do, I'm going to do. But it's no point at this time making an alarm of it.
All I want to do really is settle down first, think what I've won. I've got a young baby and a young wife, and I'd just like to look after those.
I bet she's chuffed.
Very. And just think what I've done.
Just can't believe it. I just think I'm going to wake up in a bit and I'll have to get to work.
You will carry on working?
Oh, yeah.
Are you married?
No.
It's going to make birds a lot easier, isn't it?
My wife's just a little girl, and I'll probably spend a fair bit of money on my daughter.
I just haven't decided what I'm going to do with it. I just can't realise it's occurred. I think somebody's going to pinch me and we'll wake up and go to work. It just hasn't sunk in at all.
Well, there you are, Sarah. 8 clearly very stunned people still not sure what they're going to do with the money, but at least they'll have prosperity, if nothing else, in the future. Cheers, lads.
Cheers! Good to see people looking so happy. But you know, the chances of winning $1 million playing newspaper bingo are literally millions to 1 against. A statistics expert has calculated you'd have to spend a staggering £2,000 million buying the newspaper to have an even money chance of winning £1 million. Well, you could alternatively earn it on the stock exchange like Bob Beckman has done. Bob, welcome. How old were you when you won your first $1 million?
24.
20. Anita Roddick from the Body Shop, you created that completely on your own, didn't you, with £4,000 help?
That's right, yes.
But money isn't a god to you, is it?
No, I don't see myself as a millionaire. I don't have £1 million. I am worth £1 million in my company, but I don't have £1 million.
But you are, if you cashed it all in, you'd be a millionairess.
I couldn't cash it in. I wouldn't be allowed. The stock market don't allow you to cash it in. Once I cashed it in, the share price would go down because people think, aha, she's taking it and running. So it's all self-defeating anyway.
Thanks, Anita. We'll come back to you in a minute. And Mike Vickery, I mean, you had the excitement of winning it on the pools.
Yes.
Can you remember what were you doing when somebody actually told you?
I was drinking a cup of tea in the staff canteen, actually, and they put a telephone call over the tannoy system for me.
What canteen? What were you?
I was a bus inspector in Southampton.
Oh, lovely. We'll hear your story a little later on. Thank you very much. And, of course, you can lose $1 million as quickly as you won it. Do you remember Viv Nicholson, who won the equivalent of $1 million 23 years ago? They even made a film about Viv and her philosophy, which was spend, spend, spend. Welcome, Viv. Now, you look unhappy there. Does that bring back bad memories?
Well, it does now, yes. I think I've altered a little bit from then.
Why do you say that?
Well, I don't know. I've gone through a lot, and I think it's made me look differently at myself.
So is it true money doesn't bring happiness?
Well, it brings a bit of both, I think. It depends on how you spend it and how you use it and what you do with it.
How did you spend it, Viv?
Well, I was telling this gentleman here I used to have a birthday for a dog, a cat. Yeah, I used to always be drinking and buying clothes, buying new cars and, you know, really inviting friends around that I didn't have to help me go through it.
Do you feel that people used you?
Well, I think we both used each other because, you know, when I had before we had the money, I had lots of nice friends, and when we won the money, I sort of lost them because they was afraid and made new friends, and I had to buy these friends because they were all afraid of going to people, you know, coming to me because we had money, thinking that people would think that they were scrounging off me, so to speak, you know.
So what's your life like now?
Well, I'm very happy with it now. I don't have a lot of money. I go to the pension office with everybody else, and I've got lots of friends now, you know, and...
Where do you live?
I live in Castleford.
Yeah. So, regrets, really? It hasn't made you happy, has it? I can tell that.
It hasn't made me happy, but I don't think I've any regrets because I did my own thing, as I said.
And you've done it. I mean, how many of us here would like to have been in Viv's shoes? Look, everybody. But what you've said, it's quite sobering. Let's go over to Mike Vickery now. You look a very happy man. As soon as I saw you today, you are a happy man, aren't you?
Oh, indeed.
Did you spend?
No, I didn't. I think I just sat back and thought about it first.
So what did you spend it on?
The usual things which people do buy, new car, new house, nice holiday.
Like those guys were saying a bit earlier?
Yes, I can relate to that exactly, how, you know, how they feel at the time.
And what did you do with the rest of it?
It's been, the majority's invested.
Yes.
And I just live off the interest.
So you don't work at all now?
No, not at all.
What are your regrets about having money, if there is such a thing?
Well, I haven't found any regrets at the moment. I'm just so happy, you know, that no worries at the moment whatsoever.
Viv was saying, though, about losing her friends.
Yes, I can relate to that as well. It's perfectly true what she said. Your old friends, they don't like to come in and visit you because they have to be very careful what they say. If they mention anything about money, you know, the car broke down and it's going to cost me money to fix it, they think that I would assume that they want me to pay to have the car fixed. And I think they feel on edge.
Have you got different friends, then, from the friends that you had when you were poor? Well, you know, like the rest of us.
Yes.
They're wealthy as well?
No, but they know they've met me since I've won the money.
Because money has taken you into a different sphere?
Basically, yes.
What sort of, I'm pushing you a bit, but what sort of thing? I mean, did you join a golf club that you weren't before, that sort of thing?
Yes. It was always my ambition to take up golf, but I never had the time, so there was the time to do it, so I joined a golf club. And I've now bought myself a sailing yacht, and I'm into that sort of side of it now.
Bob Beckman, you're, well, what did I say about you? You're voice of LBC Financial Affairs, you're the editor of Investors Bulletin, and you handle, you were telling me, 70 million quid?
70 million, and I also charge £1,500 an hour for giving financial advice.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, has anyone thought about that when we booked him? I don't think we have. Bob, what advice would you give to somebody who's inherited or won amount of money like that? Were they doing the right thing? The people who just won the pools, some of them were saying, oh, I'd spend. A lot of them were saying, buy a house and sit and think.
Well, what you do with windfall wealth is really a reflection of what you are as an individual. I mean, various different peoples have various different goals and objectives. Now, I was actually just talking about this very same subject with Alan Wicker a few weeks ago.
He's a friend of the rich.
Alan interviewed several people who had won fortunes in the pools 5 years after they did it. And very, very few had this lady's experience. Most of them advanced their lifestyle a bit. They bought a slightly larger house, a slightly nicer car, spent maybe a bit more money. But the majority had the experience that this gentleman had, although most continued working and saved the money and just lived from the income from the money and enhanced their lifestyles gradually.
You make money, Bob, but do you spend a lot?
Well, I mean, that's all relative, isn't it? By some standards, I spend a lot on frivolous things. By other standards, I don't. Well, I drive a Ferrari and have a collection of diamond watches and spend £600 a suit and have a huge wardrobe, that type of thing.
People are tutting. People are tutting. Now, are you tutting because you resent the fact that Bob, because he's clever, has made himself a millionaire? Come on, you can't tut and not back it up.
No, because the millions that he's got and the millionaires have got means that lots of other people have got less. There's only
it doesn't, because it means, surely, Bob, that the money goes back into...
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It's all false,
charity
this. That, in fact, there's, as if we didn't have wealthy people, somehow the wealth would disappear. That, in fact, there is wealth, you know, and it's the way it's distributed which is the important thing. And it seems to me a reflection of our society that rather than be concerned with distributing wealth more widely so that the people who are poor get more, we're concerned with giving a few people a great deal rich.
Mike, do you give anything to charity?
Yes.
A lot, or...?
A small sum.
Anita?
Yes.
Bob?
Quite a bit.
OK. Very quickly, what would you do if you found that you had won £1 million? Let's go to this gentleman here. What would you do?
Spend it.
On what?
Anything.
Just anything?
Yeah.
Oh, dear. You must have wanted something in particular.
Season ticket for the Arsenal.
Great, lovely. What about you, madam?
Oh, God, I think... Put it in the bank.
Put it in the bank. Well, two things. Season ticket for Arsenal or put it in the bank. Well, anyway, Khalid Aziz has been doing some research of his own, putting that question to some unsuspecting Londoners. Let's hear what they say.
Can you tell me what it'd be like to have a lot of money?
Wonderful.
How much would you call a lot of money?
A couple of million. Rather nice.
What would you do with it?
Hire a porter.
Well, look at all this luggage you've got.
Yes, that'd be quite useful.
Somewhere abroad to live, in a nice climate, living it up on the town, investment.
I would buy a Rolls Royce, a big house, look for plenty pretty girls to stay in the big house.
Did you ever worry about losing it?
And no, I wouldn't worry too much about that. Easy come, easy go.
I've got enough now.
Yeah? Yeah. So it wouldn't go to your head?
I've got enough to last me the rest of my life, providing I die tonight.
What would you call a lot of money?
More than $1 million.
More than $1 million? So less than $1 million you wouldn't look at?
Oh, yeah, of course. So. Why not?
Well, £1 million would be very nice. Be nice to win the Daily Mirror bingo or something like that.
Could you tell me what you would do if you had a lot of money? What would it be like?
I have a lot of money.
Do you? Do you want to marry me?
That's lovely. You know, that reminds me of a quote of Woody Allen. He said, "Money is better than poverty, if only for financial reasons." Classic Woody Allen, isn't it? Anita, let's come to you. Can you just explain, because I'm sure people will be intrigued, how did you start off the Body Shop? How did that start?
I borrowed £4,000 from the bank, and a lot of the success of the Body Shop is the fact that we had no money, so we couldn't do conventional things like packaging. We didn't lie to the consumer. We did everything that we broke all the rules. The extraordinary thing about the company that I started was that we've created wealth for other people. It's not just sitting in the company, because we franchise. For example, we have two girls who have stores in Covent Garden, Cheapside in Victoria. They started with 2 trestle tables in Camden Lock, and now their turnover is over $1 million. So it's wonderful for me to be able to see that related to other women or other people.
When you started, did you think that you were going to be so successful?
Hadn't a clue. Absolutely had no idea at all. My husband decided to go off horse riding across South America, so I needed a job to look after the kids and to be, you know, with them.
Were you just a housewife?
No, I had a hotel. And I worked in that hotel, and I had a restaurant which I worked in. The most important thing is I come from an immigrant family, and where the work ethos
is that
has been
Italian?
Italian family. So
you
for
are
10
as
years,
well, aren't you?
part?
10 years old, we were working in the cafe, and you know that was life. So that never frightened me. I think that's terribly important.
Do you have a compulsion, though, Anita, now that you're successful, to become more successful, to make another million, for example?
You know, one of the most incredible things is that you actually don't think like that. The two things, you don't think about money when you've got money, because it comes to be utterly boring. And I've never met anybody who's worked and achieved their money through work that actually has the time to spend it. All you want to do is continue working and to do the very best that you can. The idea of doubling it, that's a vocabulary that you don't think about.
I sense that with you, Bob, as well. I sense there's actual boredom talking about money at the level that we're talking about, because we haven't got any.
No, well, I've always considered money to be a side issue. I mean, my objectives have been very, very similar to
Anita's.
What I really wanted to do was make a contribution to the industry that I work in, and this was my primary goal.
Is that the stock market?
Well, the securities industry as an industry. I've written several books, and as you know, I have my LBC broadcast. I don't do that for money. I do it because I like to do it. I appear on television programs like this, again, not for money, but because I like to do it. I do an awful lot of charitable work.
But you never always had money, though, did you, Bob? And so you can say now money is a side issue, but it obviously means so much more to other people.
Yeah, when I say it's a side issue, what I'm saying is that it was never a primary objective. I never set out to
get rich.
Make a million as my objective. I wanted to, but it was far more important to me to do the things I wanted to do within my chosen industry than it was to make a lot of money at it. I mean, if someone said, well, you know, you can make a million by going out peddling toys in the street, I'm not interested in having a million that much.
Why have you been able to make a million and we haven't?
Well, it could be something to do with dedication to an objective. My objective, as I said, has been what I felt was a desperate need to make a contribution in an industry that has been very badly abused. So I've made a virtue out of doing things the opposite way to most people in the industry do them.
Thank you for your philosophy. Let's go now to Mark Butler. Now, Mark, how old are you now?
24.
24. You were a millionaire at 22, weren't you?
Near enough, yes.
What happened?
Basically, we worked, as Bob's been telling us, we worked for an objective to make it the company that I was in as successful as possible.
Did you create it?
Yes.
And it was a computer game, wasn't it? Arcadia, I think it was.
That's right, it was a computer games company, and we realised there was a need for this on the market at the time, so we wanted to become as famous, I suppose, in creating this industry.
What went wrong then?
We got too big for our boots, basically.
But you as people, or the company overgrew itself?
The company overgrew itself.
Did you get too big for your boots, a bit flash?
Yeah, being so young, obviously, having a few bob in the bank. You do rash things, you spend it on rash things.
Chris Everett, you were the operations manager at the time. Could you see it coming?
I think if everybody stopped and thought they could see it coming. But I think the important thing was that we were doing the business for the sake of doing the business. The money didn't really matter. And we're all at it again, starting off again.
I was just going to ask you that, Mark. I mean, if you're facing, obviously you've outstretched yourself, a lot of people would lose their nerve, and I'm sure Bob would agree, probably business is all about nerve. You are going to start again, are you?
Yes, I've actually started again 2 weeks ago, based again in Liverpool.
And does the city have faith in you now you've crashed?
I don't know, I haven't really approached the city. The whole trade, the whole computer industry has still got faith in me and still would like to see Liverpool and the company that I've brought up again make a success of itself.
Great. Thank you for hearing from all our guests. I think now I've hogged the limelight enough. Why don't you ask questions to whoever you would like to? Who'd like to start off? Madam.
I'd like to wonder why the ladies tittered when the young man said that he liked to collect diamond watches and what have you. Why shouldn't he collect diamond watches if he's earned the money? And by buying watches, he's making other people rich, because somebody has to make those watches.
Right.
He may be making other people rich, but not little youngsters like us, I'm afraid. I'd just like to point out.
Bob, nor start off rich.
I was a youngster,
Let's hear from Bob now, if you'd like to answer that.
I was a very poor youngster. I mean, when I was 9 years old, I used to sell newspapers on the subway trains in America. I started working when I was 9. And nobody gave me a job. Sometimes I created these jobs for myself because there was no one around to give me a handout or to give me anything. I got through university by working as a jazz trumpet player in a nightclub. I did that for 5 years. I worked from 9 to 3 in the morning and then went to school during the day. Now I'm reaping the rewards of that, and I think anybody can do exactly the same thing I did if they have enough determination.
The gentleman behind me there.
Making a millionaire is all about creating wealth. Now, it depends upon how you create wealth. Whether you create wealth by creating wealth generally, that is for other people, because if a man suddenly finds he's got £1 million in his pocket, that £1 million, every single pound note came out of somebody else's pocket.
What's your question, and who is it?
The question is that people become very rich. Two routes, as I see it. One is that they acquire wealth through creating wealth. That is, they manufacture.
Can I have your questions there, please?
Yeah. The 3 millionaires.
We'll come back to you.
Okay.
We'll come back to you. Somebody else, the lady over here.
Well, I would like to know if...
Who's your question to?
To all of them. Should someone say to you, we are going to divest you of your wealth today, would you again start up? Not in your case, sir, because you won it, but would you be able to?
The answer to your question is yes, I would start up again. The part of your question which said divest you of my wealth, you actually, being wealthy, and I only judge myself by my income, what I get from my company, which I'm sure is no higher than anybody's, you know, in executive position. The important thing that you have to have is your priorities. My priorities are my children. I know when my daughter comes home late, she's been to a movie, and I can't think where in the hell she is, my life would change if something happened to her, or if my husband was affected. Those are your priorities, and if you wake up in the morning knowing your priorities, the rest is totally, totally unnecessary.
The lady over there in the black and white. Thank you, Anita.
Good afternoon. May I have a question to Bob, please?
Sure.
Bob, if I was fortunate enough to win the Sun, Mirror or Star Bingo, how would I go about investing my money? Could I ask this as free of charge, please?
Well, the best way to go about it would be to ring me at my office and then make an appointment. We sit down and have a long talk and determine precisely what your goals and objectives are, whether you're a high-risk taker and want to make a lot of money very, very quickly and run the risk of losing a lot of money very quickly, or whether you want to place yourself in a situation where you have a modest return on your money that you can be assured of continuing without working into your capital. And this is what I do with most of my clients.
Thank
we
you,
just have
Bob.
a discussion on goals and objectives.
Can I ask, go to this lady here now?
I am millionaires, really at the moment contented.
Let's ask Mike that one. Mike, are you
I
contented?
most certainly am, yes, because I've no worries whatsoever. I pay people to do my financial side for me, and I just rely on them. I put my trust in them.
So you've got no goal in life at all?
Only basically to sort of carry on as I did before. Obviously with
Slightly
a few
differently.
exceptions.
Let's go back to this gentleman.
Yeah, I think I can be a bit more specific now. If the gentleman and the lady concerned had to pay tax in the PAYE, as everybody understands it and has to pay it, would they still be millionaires if they'd had to pay tax on all their acquisitions?
We're running out of time.
There's a part two.
Bob, briefly,
Yes, I
please.
most certainly would still be a millionaire. I made $1 million when I was 24. I've made more since then, and I pay tax.
On everything?
Well, on all of the things that I'm legally obliged to pay tax on.
And part two. If
I'll
you
leave them discussing this.
reach your
so
point.
if you don't feel you've got the business acumen to make $1 million and
No,
the chances
never.
of marrying into $1 million are slim, you're left with the lure of winning it. Little Woods, who celebrates 60 years in the gambling business this year, estimate that we part with around £3.6 billion a year. Now guess who's the richest man in Britain? Sir John Moores, who left school at 14 to become a telephone operator. Sir John's estimated wealth is now around £1.5 billion. Who is Sir John Moores? Sir John is the president of Littlewood Pools, so he did it on your money. See you Tuesday.
If you'd like to take part in the daytime programme, the number to ring is 01 388 2345. The lines are open now and will remain open until 4 p.m.
Money makes the world go around, the world go around, the world go around. Money makes the world go around, it makes the world go round. A mark, a yen, a buck, or a pound, a mark, a yen, a buck, or a pound is all that makes the world go around. That clinking, clanking sound that makes the world go round. Money, 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 money. If you happen to be rich and to feel like a night's entertainment, you can pay for a gay escapade. If you happen to be rich and alone and you need a companion, you can ring ting-a-ling for some maid. If you happen to be...
And Sarah Kennedy returns with another topical discussion next Tuesday afternoon at 2:30.
There's something for everyone in the new season on Channel 4. A close-up look at the living body uses a fascinating mixture of microphotography and computer animation to show how the body's many components combine to meet the demands of everyday life. Childhood misconceptions are recalled in Just Sex.
I remember saying to her, I don't mind the idea of giving birth because they just cut you from your neck to your belly, right, and take it out. But I just can't imagine doing the other thing.
Beginning tomorrow at 8:40, a new series of Hey Good Looking deals with design in the age of technology and the factors which influence the process of turning ideas into objects. And at 10:30 tomorrow, the start of a series which offers some food for thought about the British diet and how changes in eating habits could significantly improve the nation's health. Programmes for all tastes in the new season on Channel 4.
Next this afternoon on ITV, following the break, there's the week's final visit to Glendarroch, and we take the high road.
Why are more and more top breeders recommending Pedigree Chum Mixer?
It gives the crunch to their meal. Our dogs think that Pedigree Chum Mixer is the last word in feeding. They clear their bowls completely.
My dogs get lots of enjoyment out of Chum Mixer. The Dachshunds would eat it for breakfast, dinner and tea.
I've never known a dog which doesn't enjoy Pedigree Chum Mixer. It gives them great pleasure.
Pedigree Chum Mixer is recommended by top breeders. You can't give your dog a better mixer.
There's a good deal going on now in our Buy Now, Pay in February storage heater offer. Like this slimline Dimplex for £130, including delivery and assembly. So don't wait for winter. Buy now, pay in February.
At your electricity board shop. It's no good, Claude. We're still losing height. No, Claude.
You'll be glad you had an extra strong mint.
Now, we know that Appletise is a new soft drink for grown-ups. Light, softly sparkling, no added sugar. But today we're going to conduct a test to see just how far its remarkably natural aroma of fresh apples will carry. Right. Ready when you are. Well, they can detect the aroma even in France. Unfortunately, they can't buy it. So it's jolly bad luck on the French. Ha 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 ha! Appletise. It's well worth sniffing out the taste.
Girls, don't miss this golden opportunity. We're giving away thousands of bracelets. Find out how to get yours in this week's TV Times.
Returning next week to ITV, a new series of Emmerdale Farm. A farmer's daughter brings new love into Jackie's life, while a spur-of-the-moment spending spree puts Jack in trouble and leaves Matt stunned. And there's trouble too for Alan Turner, which is good news for Amos, though not for long. And it's not only money that lands Jack in deep water. In the new series of Emmerdale Farm, coming next week to ITV.
In half an hour, there's conflict with a visit from Paul in Sons and Daughters. But first, Glendarroch is our destination as Jimmy meets the new owner of the estate in Take the High Road.